Like in every situation, there are shocks or crises that can affect every person in every country. We know they do not affect them all equally, and sadly, almost everywhere, women and girls are left behind. They suffer the worst in shocks and crises, and their needs are not met in those situations. So we are seeing that women and girls are enduring the worst of the pandemic across every sphere, from poor health outcomes to a lot of women are employed in the informal sector, right? So they rely on going to markets or going to do household work. So they've had real livelihood losses and earnings losses. Then there's increases in physical violence towards them, increased care burdens at home. Many people live in multi-generational housing. And obviously we've talked about the lack of schooling and how school closures have affected girls especially. The UN has projected that the poverty rate among women would increase by 9.1% because of the pandemic and its fallout. So that's really sobering. So I think and organizations like ours, what we really work to do in situations like this is to make sure that we address needs specifically of women in times of crises, because often, as we've seen, even in the response teams for governments, it's usually a lot of men standing at a podium.
Right. Yeah, I was going to say there has to be some.
Yeah, people are thinking, how do I get women their menstrual supplies? So making sure that we put them at the front of our thinking, because they're often left. So for instance, our team in Ethiopia recognized a spike in unemployment for domestic workers who are predominantly women. And so we partnered with a mobile app there, Task Mobi, that matched service providers with jobs and helped hundreds find work. We also had donation funds for domestic workers to help people in need. And I mentioned also that example in Jordan, where we partnered with a company that produces Arabic audio books to then have lessons over the radio so that girls weren't losing all those gains. So it's really important that women and girls are at the forefront of our responses, because they suffer the worst of incidents like these. And sadly, I've never seen one where they didn't.